Now, if you have a French rear window car, in other words, if your window does not have the trim, it'll have a fiberglass shell, you want to take off that top immediately. Now this car did not see a lot of winter or rain. Really didn't see much rain. But this is surface rust. This isn't, normally these are rotted through, because I've seen it on some other cars. It just goes all up and down this edge here. This was the only area that needs really any work. Just got to grind it down, prime it, paint it, done. And Scout would say put some resin and filler there just to make sure that you don't get any water there even afterwards. And I'd take these pieces off, but there's weather stripping here. Let me show you what I mean. This is why I don't like what the body shop did for my 89. This is a piece of weather stripping. Without this, you will have leaks in the floor pan. Same thing with the front ones. And actually, before I forget, I should probably get the... I need to give the trunk another hammer test. I assure you what, Pastor, I whacked this sucker pretty damn hard. On this inside here, you're going to start seeing some scab... Oh, I'm holding it wrong, sorry. You're going to start seeing some scabs right around here. Now, to my knowledge, this is just paint that's coming off. I hit this thing hard and, see? Very scabby, very scaly. But it's all... Like I hit every one of these areas with a hammer, and there wasn't any metal that came out. Even down here, that's a scab. This area is definitely solid as well, except I hit this with a hammer really, really hard. So the only area that I'm really concerned about, I had it for a second here, is this area right here. This is the only area that I'm not totally sure it would pass, now that I think about it. I can't tell if that's rust and metal, or if that's just paint. And, I mean, then again, if it comes to it, that's not an exactly difficult area to patch. It's just a little, just cut a square, trim a little bit out of here, weld it, prime it, fill, whatever, do whatever you need to do. So I will say this trunk lid is probably 99% solid. Yeah, these things didn't come out properly. Whatever. I'm not worried about that. Once, if you have to do any metal work repairs on here, Scott and Ivan, you can just weld all these holes shut. And then actually, before I forget to mention, I normally, I'm trying to remember what I was going to do. Yeah, actually, this trunk floor is bad all the way to the body mount. Body mount is, I think, right here. Yeah, right. I don't want to get tetanus or cut myself, but here's a body mount. So you're going to want to get, basically, I think everywhere, yeah, up here is, I think that's solid. Yeah, you're better off just getting a complete trunk floor. Just get the whole thing and, cut off of that what you need. And because I know this whole area here is bad. This corner is bad. Again, the car was parked on a slight incline, so you can even see the discoloration from the fucking water. You can see the rust peeking through here. Lovely. That's an easy repair though, because I know trunk floors from 79 to at least 94 will work. But as I was going to mention with the trim, since I'm not going to have the trunk trim, oh, that's great. There we go. There's no reason to have this piece, or this piece, or really this piece either. But then you have this piece down here, which I actually kind of like. So actually, there's a way to do it if you just, I know this is kind of going off topic very quickly here, but if you just cut it to, or just take off this piece and this piece, but leave this piece, then from most angles it'll look like the taillight still is wrapping around. And then that'll give you an opportunity. You can just take this little accent stripe and two-stone thing, run it all the way across the trunk after you weld all the holes shut and all that stuff, and then obviously just do the same on this side. But I'm getting distracted. I got all but two of those stupid screws out for the... Yeah, this door's terrible. This door's terrible. That door doesn't open, but it's definitely terrible. Getting a new battery for it today, and... Also, I forgot, this actually... The power fuel door thingy does not work. Gotta go to the trunk, I'll show you what I mean. Fuel pump is barely priming. It's this guy right here. It makes a thump, but it don't open. So, see it. Nope. So, from what I remember, guy showed me what to do. I gotta make this quick, I'm getting sunburned. Somewhere in this trunk, oh, there we go. Yeah, this thing's gonna need new hinges. Should be where is it? Oh man, I should know this. I should know this by now, but I don't. He said it's like a yellow switch or something in the trunk. I don't know where. Oh man. I mean, I'm gonna need to know sooner rather than later because I want to gas this thing up and move this thing to where I can store it. It's literally just down the block. Oh, a nice little surface rust there. That's what happens when people don't replace their trunk seals. That's always fun. Ah, boy. I can't find it. I don't know where. That's the fuel pump cutoff, I think. Yeah, that's the fuel pump cutoff, so you don't want to press that. I mean, I'm not going to be driving it anyway. Oh, before I forget, I'll show you how weak the battery is. This thing doesn't even try to crank. I believe this battery is original in the car. I'm not going to peel any more of this off. Obviously, when I want to keep these lamps for future reference. I love these things. But obviously, I'm not going to take them off. I don't have to take this thing apart anymore. But and also, before I forget, sorry. Now, you're probably wondering how I got to these without dropping the headliner. Well, I didn't. You see, because here, big smudge. This was all here when I got the car. It has a couple really bad. I want the headliner to this car to be perfect. I want it to be as perfect as the rest of the interior. Oh, there's a fly in here. Lovely. And I figured my headliner is due for a replacement anyway, so that's why I cut into it. I'm not going to leave this car like this, I assure you. And actually, for this, there's this little thing here. This part of the rear headliner is different for French rear window cars. I know that for a fact, because you see how it cuts into your rear visibility a lot more? Normally, this is about half as thick. And I'm not just going to yank this out because it's resting up against the high-mounted stoplight, and I don't feel like cutting around here now that I think about it. I don't want to do anything, so I mean, I'll just leave it as is. It's a nice burglar deterrent. Not that we have, burglaries in here. This is a relatively nice area compared to some of the other areas of the county. Yeah, glove boxes popped open. They're all like that. But the only two bolts I couldn't get to for the trim, or only two screws I couldn't get to, were these fucking things. I didn't feel like cutting close to the dome light, and I literally could not get an angle on this one. This one, maybe if I cut along here and just carefully, just like that. But then I would still have the screw on the top. So this car's going to need a new headline. I'll be sure to get that done when I bring this into Skippyville sometime late next summer. Among a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll PM Ivan and or Scott about this. Get pricing and quotes. Oh, I do love this interior, though. Door panels themselves are good, but the doors are not. But that glove box doesn't like to stay closed. I mean, that just happens. Even my 89 is kind of like that, and it's 4 years newer. And actually, before I forget to mention, when this thing does get to Skippyville, and once it finally starts getting body work done, I got to keep this trim, and you got to keep this weather stripping. But what they'll obviously have this painted body color, raise this a little bit. It doesn't need too much filler, just a little bit, just to raise it so this is all lined up. Body color this, delete this, delete this, delete this, delete. Well, you might not want to delete this, otherwise the weather stripping doesn't have anything to stick to. But delete as much of this stuff as you definitely delete these. I hate these. Delete as much of this stuff as you can. What you can't, just body color it. Obviously, you'll need to either weld in some new metal here on this seam, and they're all like that here. Unless you get a factory non-vinyl roof car, like a police car or something. But, yeah. This is going to have to come off anyway, so you can... Yeah, they could probably just grind this out and just weld in some new metal. Or, I mean, if you can fiberglass it if you want. I mean, whichever way you think works best. I wouldn't really know either way. But, and also, before I forget... Actually, yeah, let's just crank this thing. Or let's even see if it'll attempt to start. Nope, that's how dead the battery is. I am convinced this is the original battery that came with the car in 1985. Well, this is actually late. This was made in September of 1985. Probably delivered in early 86 or something. Oh, Jesus, that gets heavy because these things are shot. I don't like spending too much time under here because I think I'll die. But this battery is really, really old. God, it's even like got the old Motorcraft logo on it. Holy hell. 87 to 100 months. Yeah, right. That thing's done. But we're going to need a new hood. As I told Ivan, this area right here, I hit it twice with a hammer. I wouldn't even hit it that hard. This area right here, metal went flying. This whole area, it's yeah. Oh, yep, there you go. Right along this edge here, because there used to be a shitload of plants and leaves here, and I vacuumed it all out, but I mean, this car sat under a tree for 4, almost 5 years, and then you get all that. I mean, this area here is the worst. You can even see it. I don't even have to. That you can't have that. You cannot have that. This will either get swapped to a Cefi motor with a 90+ starter, or just if it's, you know, in good working order, just convert it to Cefi and put on the 90 to 91 style high torque factory starter. Or did an oil change on it a while ago. So that was before I took delivery of this thing. So I don't know how I got to get this fuel door open, because I can have it crank all I want, but it's got to run and drive, and it will. I mean, it turns over pretty quick for not having a lot of gas in it, and for having vacuum leaks and a lot of other problems that just generally awful CFI issues. But oh yeah, before I forget, let me close this. This area here doesn't look. Oh, yeah, that doesn't look too good either. I mean, there really isn't a single spot in this hood that I would be okay to leave it as is. I mean, this thing I'd have to get this thing repainted anyway. You'd have to take the hood off, and I'd want to get some of the trim deleted here too. Like all this. There's no weather stripping behind this trim here, I don't think. So I'd be okay with just getting that deleted. Because I'm not going to put the window trim back on here. I mean, obviously take this out to replace the seal that goes around here and get this clip out of here. But I mean, I'm not going to be driving it through like Rocky Mountains with this thing or anything. So I'm not worried about it getting cracked. I mean, I haven't had any stones hit my cars, and I think ever. I don't drive through quarries, and I'm not worried about it. And this thing actually, it's going to get 16-inch wheels and obviously replace the shocks and springs, so it's not going to ride solo anyway. So a lot of the things that they'll probably just glance off the hood. I'll be fine basically. So I understand why you guys want to keep the window trim, but I'm not worried about it. I mean, this car is already kind of a piece of shit already, and so even if it were to break in the interim, I probably wouldn't care. Yeah, notice how the hood doesn't really line up. See how just. Yeah. See, like I said, this car was hit once. See how it gets bigger and then it gets smaller? My 89 was the same way after I took it to this ghetto body shop from hell. Oh, I see a bird has marked his territory there. Very nice. Yeah, like I said, this stuff all had a lot of. There's a lot of stuff in here. There's a lot of just gunk. I'll pull these tabs out eventually. I'm just not too worried. Whatever. It's not going anywhere. So. Obviously, you gotta weld all these shut, weld all these and all those. And obviously, I'm not gonna drive around with a fiberglass shell and, you know, a 25-plus-year-old rear window seal. So Scott was right to say, I'll just get a new rear window for it. That's not a big deal. You can get one made custom aftermarket if need be. But before I forget, as I was gonna say before, notice the rocker panel on this car. This is still the fender, but notice the rocker. It doesn't look too bad yet. Until that, or until that, or even until this. You know, as Ivan was explaining, a lot of these cars, especially when the door bottoms go and the drain holes get clogged, they rust on the part of the rocker that's inboard, i.e. closest to the frame. Whereas actually when I first found this car in 2014, I thought it was solid. Thought the rockers were good. I didn't give it a finger test initially. I was a bit of a moron then, but I'm still a bit of a moron now. So that doesn't really tell you very much, does it? But getting too old for this shit. Lovely fluids. Yeah, it's gonna need new fuel lines and brake lines before I even think about bringing it to Skippyville. But find a place in town that hopefully isn't run by hood rats and people that do shitty work. Yeah, here's the rear dog leg. Again, the driver's side of this car is horrible. This whole, you're probably just gonna have to cut. This is all part of the rocker, and then it gets welded to the wheel arch here. I'm pretty sure I haven't given that the hammer test yet, but it should be okay. I know the passenger side is much better. It's gonna need a gas tank as well, but you probably need to be in there anyway because the CFI fuel pump isn't usually enough for Cefi. Because I know it's in Cefi in '86 they got a new fuel pump, so again I'm not worried about that. Oh, look, some more pieces of the vinyl top fell off. That's nice. Let's see, now this side, I'll show you the feed for the rocker. This rocker both appears solid and is solid. Look at that. Ain't she pretty? Even along, I mean, It's nice I got to this when I did, because otherwise this door bottom's bad. The water would have been collecting right here and it would have just rusted right out. But see, this drain hole's still good. Oh, yep, still leaking something there. It's a fuel line. This is the pass side. Yeah, gas line's bad on this side. Ugh. You know your car's bad when you got to put several $100 into it just to get it so you can drive it down the road without dying. Oh well, it's only about $50-$70 for a tow into town, so. And see, yeah, this fender's bad, as always. But I love this paint scheme. Walnut, Pueblo sand, orange stripe. And also, you know, it's like I said, this car was hit at one point. You'll see. Notice how this stripe here is a little bit darker than the stripes back here. Yeah, because this thing got, oh, look at that. Wow, what a difference there. And this thing got hit probably, would have been on this side. You can even see the bumper. The bumper don't line up properly. See how the passenger side sits about 1.5 inches higher? Hard to see, but look at it closely to understand. Also, enjoy my antique plates. These are to a car that no longer exists. But, again, nobody gives a shit around here. So, I don't give a shit either. But, this guy will probably come off at some point. I mean, I don't want to do it on the first trip, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But, there you go. There's your update 2.5. Pretty much all ready to go to basically just drive it down the block and park it in front of mine's garage. So, just got to get battery and find a way to get this stupid fuel door thing open. I don't just want to pry on it, so I'm just not going to.